Hey students, in a minute, we're going to read a fun story. But before we do, I have some new vocabulary words for you. Ready for them? The first word is utensils. Can you say that one time with me? Utensils. Utensils are tools that we use to eat or to do something. This picture shows the boy using a fork as a utensil to eat his watermelon. Utensils. What kind of utensil do you think you might use to eat soup? The next word is expect. If you think something will happen, you expect it. This boy knew that he was going to find books in the library. He expected to find books. Expect. What might you expect to see at the beach? The last word I want to show you before we read our story is remained. Something that remained in a place stayed there. In this picture, the baby kangaroo remained in its mother's pouch for a long time. Have you ever remained at home with your mom or dad while somebody else went to the grocery store? Or maybe you stayed with an auntie or uncle. You remained at home. There's a fun game sometimes we play at school where we try and remain in one spot for as long as we can and we don't move. Remained. Now, let's read our story. And as I read, see if you can listen for the vocabulary words that we've talked about this week. Now, we get to read a story. It's a fiction, a made-up story. It's a type of story called a fable. So oftentimes fables try to teach us a lesson. This story is a fable from Puerto Rico. So we live in Hawaii. Hawaii is right here. Puerto Rico is also an island way over here. Let's read about this fable from Puerto Rico. And as we're reading, see if you can carefully listen for the vocabulary words in our story too. These are story cards, so again, our title is on the back. Let's read it. Little Juan and the Cooking Pot. A cooking pot is usually a very big pot that can hold a lot of food. Let's read our story about Little Juan. Once there was a boy named Little Juan who lived with his mother. Like many children, Little Juan liked to play more than he liked to work. One day, Little Juan was playing ball in the backyard. His mother came to find him. Little Juan, I'm making a big stew for dinner. Please go over to your grandmother's house and borrow her big pot and cooking utensils. Little Juan stopped playing and frowned at his mother. Do I have to go to Abuela Carmen's house? I want to play ball. Mama sighed. If you want dinner, you must go right now, Little Juan. You can play ball another time. Oh, all right, said Little Juan as he dropped his ball and walked slowly to the house. Little Juan ran up the hill and down the hill all the way to Abuela Carmen's house. He pushed open the door and went to the kitchen. Delicious smells filled the room. Little Juan loved Abuela Carmen's kitchen. She always wore her chef uniform when she cooked, an apron, and a big white chef's hat. She worked as a chef for people in town, so she had a great variety of cooking equipment. Abuela Carmen smiled as Little Juan came in and asked to borrow her big pot. Hello, Little Juan, she said. You may borrow my pot, but please take good care of it. She also handed him a large spoon, a spatula, a pan, a measuring cup, and a pot holder. Little Juan put all of these things inside of the pot. Are you sure you can carry all of those things, little Juan? They're quite heavy, said Abuela. Don't worry, Abuela, said little Juan. I can do it. Then little Juan left and headed home with the heavy pot filling his arms. What do you think? Do you think he'll be able to carry that heavy pot all by himself? Let's read on and find out. Soon, little Juan was very tired of carrying the pot. He set it on the ground and sat down next to it. He studied the pot closely and counted its legs. Pot, you have 3 legs and I only have 2. Why am I the one walking? The pot did not answer. You don't have a mouth, so I don't expect you to be able to talk, said little Juan. But you do have 3 legs, so you should be able to walk. Little Juan took the utensils out of the pot and put them on the ground. Then he climbed into the pot. Now, Pot, please carry me home, said little Juan. But the pot did not move. Little Juan sighed as he thought about what to do next. I know, he exclaimed. Let's have a race. Even though you have 3 legs and I only have 2, I know I will win. So little Juan ran up the hill and down the hill as fast as his legs could carry him. He never even looked back to see if the pot was close behind him. What do you think? Do you think the pot is going to be running after him? At last, little Juan arrived home. He burst through the front door. Mama, he cried, out of breath. Did it beat me home? Did what beat you home, little Juan? Asked Mama. And where are the cooking pot and utensils that Abuela Carmen gave you? Little Juan told Mama about his race with the pot. Mama shook her head and sighed. Oh, little Juan, you know that you can't have a running race with a pot. It's not a real boy like you. So when little Juan was talking about the pot having legs, he was talking about these on the bottom, not real legs. Little Juan hung his head. I'm sorry, Mama, he said. What about the stew? I'm very hungry. Mama took little Juan's hand. Let's go down the hill together and get the pot and the utensils. We will have a very late dinner tonight. I hope the pot is not too hungry, said little Juan, as he and his mother left the house. Mama smiled. The pot and the utensils remained where little Juan had left them. He and his mother collected them up and walked home with the heavy pot swinging between them. So what kinds of utensils did you hear in the story? Let's look at that last page one more time. In just this part of the story, I see the pot, the spoon, the pot holders, the spatula, and the big cooking pot. Those are all utensils that you might use to make stew. What kinds of utensils might you use if you are baking cookies? Now that you've had a chance to listen to the story, it's your turn to retell it. Head on over to Seesaw and tell us all the details you remember from this story.